One of the biggest problems with evolution debates is the utter lack of conceptual clarity. The real benefit of Richard's Chapter 3 is to highlight the different views we might have about the truth and scope of Darwin's theory of evolution. On page 54 of the text, Richards has a nice diagram of the spectrum of views, and that diagram didn't scan very well, so I've reproduced it here. In this video, I just want to discuss these four basic positions, and I should note that they are not really distinctly demarcated. They're fluid and admit of differentiation, even within each particular view. In any case, moving from left to right, the diagram grows increasingly more radical, more divergent from the classical and Christian worldview that we discussed in the video above. So let's begin here by first discussing the far left position, the anti-Darwinists. These are the people who simply reject Darwin's theory of evolution. They're the folks, for example, at the Pennsylvania and Texas school district boards who have in recent years insisted that their biology teaching curriculum include intelligent design as an alternative to evolution theory. Okay, moving on. Here are what Richards calls the mind-first dualist Darwinists. These are the folks who accept evolution theory to an extent, but still insist on elements of the classical worldview. As Richards puts it on page 55, people in this position accept the Darwinian account. They insist, however, that God, or something like God, is needed for arranging the world in the first place. Adopters of this view consequently tend to also believe that humans have souls that cannot be accounted for in material terms. So a number of Christians, for example, would identify themselves as dualist Darwinists. Okay, so let's move on now to the next view, the so-called blank paper Darwinists. With the blank paper Darwinists, folks no longer hold the view that there is any mental or spiritual realm that cannot be explained by the workings of the physical world. As Richard puts it, life emerged from matter and consciousness emerged from life by entirely Darwinian means. So it follows from this view that blank paper Darwinists doubt the existence of God and the human soul. Now, the most radical position is held by the so-called gene machine Darwinists. These are a view held by people like Richard Dawkins, who disagree with the blank slate Darwinists that evolutionary processes explain the nature of our deepest emotions and abilities, say our tendency to be altruistic. The blank slate Darwinists wouldn't go this far. They think that, as Richard puts it, we have now evolved to a state of being so much being creatures of our culture that our evolutionary origins can tell us little or nothing about what we are now. In the Yale debate below, I think you'll find the participants largely falling in these latter two categories. But when you hear people talking about evolution in general, they could be expressing any one of these four basic views. I think it's really important to recognize that. In the discussion board, we'll have you think about which position you fall in and why.